Hello and welcome again. If this happens to be your first time with us, thank you very much for stopping by and giving us a try. You are listening to Choose to Endure, the show dedicated to the back of the pack runners, where we share stories, interviews, gear, and training tips specific to the tail-end heroes of the Ultra universe. My name's Richard Gleave. I have been running ultras since 2017. I have taken on and finished numerous ultra distances at this point, all the way up through 220 miles. And I am unashamedly a member of the back of the pack, just like many of you. Now, if you've been following Choose to Endure on the socials, you'll know that I recently wrapped up a pretty significant ultra distance event. Since then, I have been in recovery mode, gearing up for my next race that happens to be coming up in about 8 weeks' time. Now, a key part of my recovery strategy has been tracking my heart rate variability, or HRV, as a way to kind of gauge where I'm at physically and ensure I'm on track for my next big challenge. So, I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to share my experiences with HRV, discuss why it matters, explore exactly what it is, why it fluctuates, the challenges and benefits of monitoring it, the importance of balance, factors that can potentially disrupt your HRV, and a few practical strategies for managing and improving it, especially after those tough, grueling ultras that we're out there doing. I think this could really help you as it has done me, so stay tuned. We're about to jump right in.
Discover raw, inspiring stories from runners who've been right where you are. This is the Choose to Endure Ultra Running Podcast with your host.
He's English, not Australian.
Richard Gleave.
Right then. Let's start with the basics, shall we? What exactly is heart rate variability? Well, HRV is really the variation in time between each of your heartbeats at a micro level. This variability indicates a responsive and adaptable autonomic nervous system. That's the system that manages those involuntary bodily functions like your heart rate and breathing. Things that you don't have to think about. It just happens. Your autonomic nervous system really has two primary branches. One of those is called the sympathetic, and that's known colloquially as the fight or flight response. You'll know that one. If you've ever been in one of those situations, you get laser focused, you maybe start to sweat a bit, your heckles go up. And then the other one is called the parasympathetic. It's sort of the opposite. The rest and digest system, if you will, where you're sitting in a quiet room, dark room, eyes closed, kind of zen, much along those lines. So when these systems are balanced, the fight or flight versus the rest and digest, that's when you are at optimal recovery and optimal performance. So that's really what you're shooting for. You're shooting for balance between the two. You don't want too much parasympathetic, because then you'll be too relaxed, and you don't want too much flight or fight because you will be too stressed. So you're looking to stay somewhere in the middle. When your heart rate variability is low, that's your body's way of signaling that you're under stress. That's the fight or flight. There's a few reasons for this. It could be physical fatigue from a tough race, which is where I'm at right now. And my HRV is definitely still low. I'm checking it on my Garmin watch. It has an HRV monitoring module on there. Your watch may have something similar, or maybe you have another tool to monitor this. But if you do, and your HRV is low, it could also be from mental stress, from daily life. Another way that I have really utilized the HRV is illness. I have noticed that when I am sick, my HRV and indeed my resting heart rate all change. And so I can tell really quickly if I am sick because a quick look at my HRV and or my resting heart rate will show me that they're out of balance from normal. HRV can also indicate a lack of proper recovery too. On the other end of the scale, a high HRV, that's going to be your rest and digest system, right? So that typically indicates that your body is rested, recovered, and ready to take on a little bit more stress effectively. That's going to reflect some good fitness and resilience. Like I said, you don't want too much rest and recovery, because then you start to detrain, but equally, you don't want too much stress either physical or mental, or even illness, because that's not great for training. It's not efficient, not effective. So, like I said, you're striving for something somewhere in the middle. Keep the two kind of balanced. So we talked about monitoring HRV. It can be incredibly insightful, but there are a few things to keep in mind too. Since HRV varies significantly from one person to another, comparing your HRV numbers, if you're looking at them on a phone or somewhere else, to another individual's numbers isn't really helpful. They can be quite different, the numbers themselves. You still have the low, high, and balance in the middle, but your low and high and your balance might look very different from a numbers perspective to mine, for instance. Also, daily fluctuations can sometimes be a little confusing and stressful if you overanalyze every little change. So glance at this once a day, take a look, take a note. But if you're analyzing every piece of that, it can get overwhelming pretty quickly. But the benefits of monitoring it, generally speaking, far outweigh those challenges. Monitoring your HRV is going to help you gauge the intensity of your training, making sure that you aren't overtraining, because ideally, you're sticking to the balance. When you're too low, you rest a bit. When you're too high, you can train a bit. Bring that gauge up or down, depending on where you find yourself, and try to make sure you're staying in the green in the middle. Can also provide early warnings when your body is fighting illness, like I talked about, or feeling excessively stressed. And in general, I think it sort of makes you aware of your overall health, helping you stay tuned into your body's signals. I'm a big fan of listening to your body. I like data a lot. I'm a data guy too, but I don't rely on just data. It's a nice tool, but it's not the be-all and end-all. I've really learned over the past couple of years to listen to my body as well. And I do find actually that it ties in nicely to HRV. When I have a low HRV after runs and I go out and try to run, it's really difficult. A 10-miler feels like a 20-miler. So there's definitely some correlation there between what I'm seeing in the numbers and how my body feels when I'm out running that sort of guides me and helps me think, yeah, actually there's something to this. I think the importance of balance is interesting as well. Finding balance in your HRV means that your body is effectively managing stress and recovery efficiently. If you are consistently having low HRV, that can lead to chronic fatigue, lower performance, and increased injury risks, even a weakened immune system. Achieving that balance that I was talking about really helps ensure that you remain healthy, strong, and prepared for your next ultra adventure. So there are several common things that can throw your HRV out of whack. I jotted down a few. The first one I put down was overtraining without enough recovery. That's a big one. Poor sleep quality or chronic mental and emotional stress can also negatively impact your HRV. And additionally, poor nutrition, inadequate hydration, and here's one that I've definitely been guilty of and have seen directly on my watch. Excessive alcohol consumption. Those things are also often culprits behind lower HRV readings. So how can you manage and improve your heart rate variance numbers? Well, it really involves taking deliberate steps towards better recovery. So prioritize that quality sleep. Make sure you're aiming for 7 to 9 hours each night. If you're not sure how to get that, we have a wonderful episode right here on Choose to Endure, which has been doing really well, all about sleep. And that is Season 2, Episode 8, where we had guest Amanda Choco on, and she told us all about how to master sleep for ultra performance. Go check that episode out. If you're struggling with the sleep side of things, that's going to really help your HRV. But Season 2, Episode 8, Mastering Sleep for Ultra Performance, with sleep coach and author of a really cool book, Amanda Choco. Planning your structured rest and active recovery days can also help maintain balance. Make sure you incorporate stress management techniques such as meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises. Those can significantly improve your score as well. Pay attention to your diet. Proper nutrition, proper hydration also play a big role, and limiting that alcohol intake will help your body bounce back quicker. Lastly, there are some other methods out there like cold therapy or, just gentle active recovery sessions. Those can also be pretty beneficial in promoting balance and speeding up your overall recovery. Now, after ultra endurance events, which is where I'm at right now, it's completely normal for HRV to dip pretty dramatically. Mine has been at the very bottom of the red on the low end for probably 2 weeks now, but I'm starting to see that it's coming back up slowly. So for me, it's probably going to take 3 or 4 weeks for it to get back into the green, into the balance after an ultra endurance event. For you, that might be different, but either way, it's completely normal for it to go low right after a big event. Your body has just endured extreme physical stress, and, recovery doesn't happen overnight. It may take you weeks before your HRV returns to baseline, which is what I'm dealing with right now. But regular HRV monitoring will help you gauge when you're genuinely ready to ramp up your training again. You can do gentle activities like walking, stretching, make sure your nutrition's on point, make sure you have a few rest days. Those are crucial components to speeding up your recovery process and moving out of that low zone back into the sort of green balance zone. So you can certainly do exercise. I'm not saying don't do exercise, but just make sure it's appropriate exercise for where your HRV is telling you you're at after a big ultra. Understanding and monitoring HRV is something I've learned to do over the years as it pertains to athletic performance. I think it can be a really valuable tool in your ultra running toolkit. If that's new to you or if you're not doing it today, I would definitely suggest potentially looking into that. It's going to offer you insights into your body's response to racing, training, recovery status, and just general overall well-being. By paying attention to HRV and implementing strategies to actively manage it, I think you can enhance your performance, reduce the risk of overtraining, and more importantly, enjoy a sustainable and healthy running journey. For me, it's definitely not about the miles we run, but how we recover and how we prepare for the next miles ahead that are important. And that's why I like to monitor and keep up with my HRV as part of a wider strategy of training and making sure I'm in for the long haul, so to speak. But definitely keep listening to your body and prioritize recovery. Whether you're looking at HRV or not, those are great things to do. Of course, there's certainly a ton more scientific and in-depth information about HRV out there on the interwebs. If you're interested in this topic, definitely feel free to go explore it while you're out there browsing. Don't forget to subscribe to the show here. That way you'll get notified each time a new episode drops. And if you are enjoying what you hear, please follow, share, and leave a review. That would mean the world to me. Your support directly helps grow the podcast, connects more runners to this fantastic ultra community we have out there, and helps share the information that we're talking about. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Choose to Endure, or visit us anytime at choosetoendure.com. I would love to hear from you, whether it's to say hello, suggest a topic, or share a story about yourself or somebody you know. And that way we can get to it on air and share it with everybody else too. You can email me directly at The very simple info@choosetoendure.com. Nice and easy. Interacting with listeners just like you is one of my favorite parts of doing the show. So I look forward to hearing from you. Don't be shy about reaching out. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm doing this just because I'm right there right now managing HRV. So until next time, make sure you run long, run strong, keep a check on your heart rate variance, and also, as ever, keep choosing to endure.